All right, today I'm going to show you how I use templates to make my charting fast and easy so I'm not having to do work later, and how I also use that to improve patient compliance and patient care and also cut down on phone calls later because the patient has everything they need right there in front of them. So this is MDHQ, but you can use pretty much any EMR that allows you to write your own templates. Using generic templates just doesn't work. We all repeat ourselves a lot, just like parents, but we all repeat ourselves saying different things. So you're going to want to make it accurate to what you do, not what some generic doctor that they invented in their heads did. The other thing you want to look for with templates is that you're able to template everything, because you repeat yourself not just in the subjective and in the exam, but also in your plans. So I'll show you how I use this to give patients really good, thorough summaries and plans that they can use to take better care of themselves at home. So here's John Doe, a 3-year-old, only we're going to treat him kind of like an adult. He's my sample patient. Don't get overwhelmed by this dashboard, by the way, if you are thinking about MDHQ. When I first looked at it, it looked super messy to me, but now that I'm used to it, I love it. It's like a pilot's instrument panel where I can just see everything at a glance. So let's go ahead and open a note. So we're going to do sample note here. I chose an EMR that was more free text entry. There are some that are more point and click, and I don't like those as well because they don't give as well-rounded a picture of a patient. That said, I can template everything, so I don't have to be well-rounded if I don't want to. So here I'm going to go ahead and pop in this template. If you have a free text one, you want to make sure you can do templates that put the whole thing in for you because you don't have to think then. That just pops in your overall structure, and then anything that's you already know. Past medical history, social history. You can see this 3-year-old is a welder, married with 2 kids. Family history. I don't think there's any current medications. Here's allergies, most recent vitals. So this is a template I made of what I like in a note. I don't typically bill insurance. You can see instead of assessment and plan, I have discussion and patient instructions. You can do this however you want. So let's say that this guy's in here today for thyroid. So the way I've written my templates is to have a bunch of different thyroid options. So I can just pop these in. No problems with thyroid medications, no symptoms of low or high thyroid, takes medication daily without generally missing doses. This is the standard stuff I ask everyone with thyroid. But let's say he had some other stuff. Maybe wife is against him taking medication because she thinks he should wait to be healed. Oops. Sorry, I usually type better than this. Has some questions about this. And this is actually something that came up last week. Let's say that he also is needing more resources about ACEs we discussed at last appointment. So ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, are something I address with all my patients because they're a major risk factor. So maybe I gave him a few resources last time. Here's my review of systems I just popped in. That's my standard thyroid one. Let's say he is actually having yes to fatigue. So I'd go in there and put yes fatigue and then no of the other stuff. Or I might put positive, whatever I feel like. I'll double check as I run through this that nothing's changed. And when I get down here, let's say I do just a standard thyroid exam today. Great. Let's say that he's also complaining of something else, which of course I didn't plan for, but let's say he's also having Dacre-Vein's tendinosynovitis, and just pop that in there. And so I can just put in extremities, positive Finkelsteins, etc., etc. Let's say he's mildly tender at the metacarpal joint, so I can just go in there and change it. But today he's not complaining of any of that, so we'll just pop that out. Discussion, so I have my standard thyroid discussion. So every time I talk with patients, I'm talking about the importance of monitoring their thyroid, or their TSH, the neurotherapeutic index, risks, symptoms, precautions, so forth. So I just pop that in there. I know I say it, I go ahead and put it in there. I scan through it to make sure I actually did it, but I always do. Then under patient instructions, I like to, as I'm talking with the patient, so right now I'm just slamming through super fast, but typically I have at least 30 minutes with patients. I have a direct primary care micro practice, so I have plenty of time. So as we're talking, I'll be making a list. So typically I'm jumping between the top of the page and the bottom of the page. So I'll be typing in their subjective, and then I'll jump down here and say, you know, today we discussed the appropriateness of medication for Christians. Oops. There is a handout in the portal. And while we were talking about it, I could just hop up here, go into my documents, and I can put how should a Christian view prescription drugs into this chart. Done. So now that's waiting for him to read later at his own time. Let's say, you know, for thyroid, I might say, can we do for labs? I put in an order. Now you can also template orders. I didn't show you that today, but if you want to, you can do it that way. But here, I'm just going to real quick put his in. So let's say we're going to prescribe his levothyroxine. Let's put him on, let's say that's his dose. So I have this already pre-filled. Remember to get your lab to recheck 4 to 6 weeks. You can see this is my standard change dose template for levothyroxine. I have them for staying on the same dose, changing dose, so forth. So this one has the reminder already in there. So I can complete, if I had a pharmacy selected, I could just select the pharmacy right here and send it directly to the pharmacy. I don't have that on his. But again, the more you can have automated, the better. So then I just click on it and I'd send it to his pharmacy. But for now, we'll just say complete. We're going to put in his TSH. There we go. He's uninsured. I see a lot of uninsured in my practice, or underinsured. It's direct primary care. So I see a lot of people who are paying out of pocket. So we're going to go ahead and do this order, send it to the lab. But the other thing I'm going to do is right here, I'm going to put in his charge for the TSH, add the charge, and then if I want to, I can go ahead and add payment. Now he doesn't have a card hooked up, obviously, because John Doe doesn't have a credit card. But I could just pay it as well while we're here. So no cards on file, but we just click add payment and would pay it. So nice and simple to throw things in as I'm doing them. Let's say, you know, read through the article, watch the TED Talk. Now, a lot of people don't do this. This is extra work I do for myself to make this detailed patient instructions list down here. But it's just a habit I have. It makes it easier. You can also, if you have a customizable EMR, have all that be pre-written as well. I could do it with MDHQ, but I like having the flexibility of putting their specific, how I phrased it for them, what their specific worries were, in the order we talked about it. But I'm going to put in some other recommendations here. So we're going to put in a book on ACE scores. So let's just pop that in there. I'm going to put in a video on ACE scores. So this is a nice TED Talk explaining them. I'm going to put in, I think I have a website here, article on ACE score. There we go. So he has those to read. I could have also, like the article on ACE score, I could have as a handout and do it up here. I just happen to have a link to it. So those are the way you can use templates to just slam things out. When I'm all done, I click Save and Sign. Now, I can just sign this note, and all this stuff here will be given to him, but not this stuff over here. This will still stay private. Or I can click Custom. This is what I usually do. And I scroll down here to Patient Instructions, and I just do that so that and then I sign the note. And they'll just send them, there we go. They'll get, the patient will get an email that they have a new summary to view. If I ever want to check and see what they have, I can just log into the portal as a patient and just see what John Doe has over in his portal. So right here at the very bottom, we have my visit summaries, and there's his office visit today. And see, there you go. There's his instructions right at the top. There's his diagnosis, his medication. It says here to get his labs checked. The pharmacy will usually tell them as well when I put it there. I ordered his TSH. Here's the website, video, and book that I recommended. So that is how I use templates to not have to do any work in the evening, but be able to spend time home with my family. If you have any questions, of course, you can comment down below or you can message me privately. And this is the second in a series on how to use your EMR to keep your life happy, not deal with not deal with excessive numbers of phone calls, how to manage without staff, how to improve patient compliance, how to improve patient experience.